We have survived Super Wildcard Weekend in the NFL, and we are on to the divisional round in the NFL playoffs here on the Sports Cubicle. I'm Mike Mercado. He's Devin Tingle, and we are making our predictions as we inch ever closer to Las Vegas for the Super Bowl. And we start off with Saturday, January 20th game. It is the number 4 seed, the Houston Texans, at the number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens. That is a 4:30 p.m. Eastern start, a 3:30 p.m. Central start here in Chicago on ESPN and ABC. CJ Stroud versus Lamar Jackson. I think the Houston Texans are a great story. I think what they've done as a turnaround, as a franchise, CJ Stroud has shown himself to be maybe the one in that draft, maybe a star quarterback in the making. Houston has never won a divisional round game in their franchise and has never won a road game in their franchise. And this is a tough game to try to do that in Baltimore, where weather will be a factor. Lamar Jackson, a good, maybe great chance to being the league MVP, and maybe destiny to being the league MVP and Super Bowl MVP if everything goes right. This might be the best case scenario for him and the Ravens to advance into the AFC Championship as a matchup. But we don't know. The Texans might not know any better. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
It's funny because you said that same thing about the Texans last week, and then you said, but Joe Flacco, baby. And I told you Joe Mania was done. Flacco Sandy was over here. And, Texans are a great story. I think C.J. Stroud is great. You say they haven't won, these games, but they've been around for, 24 years, which you might be like, that 24 years, that you can do a lot in 24 years. That team is legally old enough to drink, but, in the world of the NFL, you kind of start, as much as people love expansion teams, you typically start at the bottom as an expansion team. Yes, you get a certain amount of players, but you're kind of be there. I do think the Ravens, though, are going to win this game. They're the best team in the NFL. I've been saying they're going to win the World Series, win the Super Bowl since about week 8. They were really phenomenal. Lamar Jackson is definitely playing like the guy he should be for that big contract they gave him 2 years ago.
And in this Saturday main event, it is the number 7 seed Green Bay Packers heading to the number 1 seed San Francisco 49ers. That is at 8 p.m. Eastern start time, 7 p.m. Central here in Chicago on Fox. It is a legendary matchup when it comes to just a classic matchup. It is two teams that kind of represent modern NFL football and classic football in its own way. The jerseys mash well together on HD television. They mash well together in old standard television. It is crazy to see that the damn Packers have a third quarterback in a row that might be problems for the Chicago Bears. And it is also a problem that the NFC matchup might be for the championship. 2 NFC North teams, and that is something we might have to worry one day, but it won't be this year. The 49ers have too much power. Brock Purdy, Debo, Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Shanahan is a mastermind. Defense plays well enough. They're going to get to Jordan Love. And I think unlike playing in Dallas, carefree, all the pressure in the world, the 49ers have no pressure because they've had pressure all season long to win the whole thing. This is just another step in their journey. And we talked about it in that Baltimore matchup. This might have been the best case scenario for them. Get the Green Bay Packers coming off a huge win against Dallas, all that energy, all that momentum, now coming to the West Coast against a team that high-powered with all that offensive power, a good defense, and as smart of a head coach as they have. I think this suits up great for San Francisco. I'm going with the 49ers in that matchup. Devin, Packers, Niners, who do you got?
Well, I would love to say 49ers here, and I'm hoping that bye week, got Brock Purdy's head in the right space. But for the past about 4 weeks of the last season, he was awful. Just awful. His best was 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He was playing really damn bad here. So, and seeing how the Packers destroyed the Cowboys, I got to go with the Packers here because the Cowboys, another really good team. But they just choked under the pressure here. And unless Brock Purdy got his head in the game, I don't see him winning. Yes, the Packers' offense will probably not score nearly as much as you said. The 49ers have a great defense, but it's like, again, if they can stop Christian McCaffrey and Purdy's playing like, Mr. Irrelevant and you typically plays, then the Packers get the win, unfortunately. Ugh, I feel dirty.
And on Sunday, January 21st, the number 4 seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the number 3 seed Detroit Lions at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central on NBC. On this matchup, I'm going with the Detroit Lions. I have to give a shout out to Baker Mayfield. The guy is a broken down skeleton of a football player, but he is tough as nails. Had a great performance last week. I think Tampa Bay has another team that has all the talent in the world. Todd Bowles has done a great job as head coach for that team. But I think the Detroit Lions seem to be a team of destiny at some sorts. Whether that equates to a Super Bowl run, I don't know. But it does just seem that they are destined to get to an NFC Championship game. They do just have enough firepower on all different aspects of the field, and they are a tough team to beat in Detroit. I think it's been a great story for Tampa Bay. I think Detroit moves on. I'm going with the Lions in that matchup.
I mean, it's funny you call Baker Mayfield a broken down quarterback, but let's take a look at where he was last year. He was playing on the Carolina Panthers defense practice squad. That should really tell you some of the turnaround there. I don't think that man's broken down at all. I keep telling everyone he's just as good as Deshaun Watson, and if Deshaun Watson didn't want to play crybaby, we would have seen that here. I am going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as this is kind of a weird bit of a range thing, though. But here's the thing. Let's take a look at how close that Rams-Lions game was. If Stafford didn't almost break his damn ribs, that game could have gone either way here. So I'm going to definitely go with the Buccaneers here as kind of that turnaround, though. But I'm going to tell you right now, whoever wins that game, I do not see them going to the Super Bowl here.
Did that feel, though, the Rams-Lions game felt like whoever won that game was going to the NFC Championship game, though? Kind of had that feel to it.
Yeah, but again, I'm telling you, it's like that moment at the end where everyone thought Matt Stafford broke his ribs and sat out for a little bit. That tells you all you need to know. It's like if the Detroit Lions got their, Hail Mary pass there, so to speak.
And in the final game of the divisional round in this season, it is the number 3 seed Kansas City Chiefs at the number 2 seed Buffalo Bills. That game kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central here in Chicago, CBS and Paramount Plus. What do you say about this matchup, right? Like, we knew Kansas City was going to take care of business against Miami in that weather. It just felt that way. You've seen it. History repeats itself. And once again, history has repeated itself with this matchup. I'm going with the Chiefs in this game. But I am very much afraid, if you are betting the Chiefs to win straight out, that Josh Allen has a great game. We have seen Buffalo in recent games survive him throwing 3 interceptions. That's not always been the case. But you mentioned about Joe Flacco a few weeks back. He's going to give you the ball. We know Josh Allen's going to give KC the ball. Are they good offensively enough to put up enough points to keep Josh Allen off their backs? To keep them on their heels, but never let them get ahead of him. Because if you let that Buffalo offense start gaining some steam, if you let that fan base in that stadium, in that weather, start getting crazy, it is going to be a huge uphill battle for KC and the way they are currently constructed and their health. I am going with the Chiefs until they lose, though. Until Josh Allen slays that dragon, I am still going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I heard Taylor Swift isn't going to be at this game here, and I think that's actually going to help the Chiefs out a little bit here. I really do, as much as it feels weird to say that, because she's been there almost the entire game. But the Bills and Chiefs have both been teams that were dominant for the past few years, but they've been really kind of up and down this entire 2023 season here. I'm going to go with the Chiefs as well. I definitely think that, they can make this work here. But again, I keep saying whoever wins the AFC is most likely going to win the Super Bowl here. And I'm just, again, you say whoever's going to slay that dragon. Lamar Jackson is the dragon, by the way. And unless you can slay him, you're not winning the Super Bowl.
Let us know, who do you think survives the divisional round in this year's NFL playoffs? It is going to be, I think, a wonderful Saturday and Sunday in the National Football League. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at The Sports Cubicle and leave a comment down below. Of course, search us everywhere else, wherever you get your favorite podcast, at Sports from the Couch. We're on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on WCPT 820 a.m. and now WSBC 1240 a.m. Chicago. Make sure you're checking us out wherever you get your favorite podcast, as well on the WCPT 820 Spotify. Who makes it out of the NFL Divisional Round? We want to know your thoughts. We got more coming up next here on the Sports Cubicle. He's Devin Tingle. I'm Mike Mercado.